All right, we're back. The Tres Amigos. It's me,
Tres Amigos.
Edward Chalupa, wearing my Byron Nelson shirt. Yeah, that's right. I'm in the grubbies today, y'all.
The grubbies.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
Didn't have time to look nice.
Yeah, I'm trying
scrambling. He was scrambling.
Oh man, I've been up all night. Been chatting in these Discords. Shoot. Well, yeah, we're joined by Easton Evans, Kurt Tax Masterson. The fellows are here. This isn't like just a MetaZoo podcast. I like to think we talk some high value marketing and cool news with other card games, but this is a MetaZoo episode mostly, I feel like, right?
Listen, this isn't a MetaZoo podcast, but this is a MetaZoo podcast.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you don't want to ever put all your chickens in one basket, and maybe that's the through line, for tonight's episode in some ways, where, we've all seen this new MetaZoo reveal, right? MetaZoo put out the, I guess, like a preview of the upcoming teaser. Yeah, not even. Yeah. I guess you can say preview teaser. And we all saw some cards. We saw the backs. We saw the fronts. Kurt, show me the card. Tax
Man, Charles showed us a card, and I was not impressed.
Yeah, I think Kurt's trying to put the genie back in the bottle, I suppose.
Take me back.
So me back. Yeah. Like, what did y'all think? I'll share my thoughts.
Look, I appreciate them giving us a card game in 4 months. 4 months effectively. I think they worked really, really hard, or at least it's hard enough to like pull the IP onto another existing card game. But I mean, the good thing is that we have MetaZoo back, which I mean was a big point. But I'll say a little bit more of the criticisms after we get the pauses out. But I'm thankful that MetaZoo are people of their word. They said that we would have a game by Q1, and they did that. So there's that.
Okay. Positives. Well, the hand-drawn artwork looks really good on like the triple. I think they also showcased their rarities, right? Common, uncommon, rare, super rare, and then like alt art or 3-star rare, whatever that is, ultra rare. Mm-hmm. That hand-drawn artwork looked really nice. Obviously the alt art's got to look good. That's something that original MetaZoo never really capitalized on. Alternate card art, full art stuff, which is definitely what this is. So that looked really good. I liked the artwork, but I've been saying that about all of the artwork that they've been revealing over the last 4 months. We've just seen artwork, but it's looked good. Man, artwork's good. We're going to focus on positive first. I like the artwork of the high rarity cards.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that Quetz and I thought that was pretty cool. I wouldn't mind, getting one of those cards. I think
Bird on a rock.
Hey, yeah, I don't know. Listen, so to no surprise, the old MetaZoo fans liked art by the old MetaZoo artists. News at 11. I think the through line for a lot of this is, there's so much to unpack. So the through line really is, should anybody be surprised on what they've seen? Like a lot of the gut reaction's been, I hate it, this sucks. And I think maybe, I don't know if it was priced in or not, but for several months now, we've been saying, hey, this new game's going to be different. Should we have been surprised at all that the cards look this different, or what do y'all think?
I mean, I think a level of shock is warranted for sure. Whenever I know you bring it up as a positive, Easton, saying that they've, had a card game put out in 4 months. Well, I sort of figured that if you've only got 4 months, they're going to reuse some elements. They bought the IP, did they not? You know, they bought MetaZoo trading card game. I'm assuming that comes with all of the previous rule engine and, you know, gameplay mechanics, gameplay design of old MetaZoo. So I mean, I was moderately shocked at seeing just something completely different. You know, what really feels like a Bandai game, to be honest with you.
Very much so.
Yeah. From a player standpoint, I was not too, you know, I'm reserving my, I guess, criticism until I actually see the game get played, but it does feel, sound, and look a lot like your Bandai games. And for me personally, Bandai's never been my favorite game. Like the games they make have never really been that interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of have like a monotype, and the monotype does like the one thing, and there's not a lot of nuance. And I think to old MetaZoo's, depending who you ask, it could be a detriment, it could be a positive. For somebody like me who really likes deck building and stuff, I thrived in nuance, right? Like you could find gold every now and then and be like, oh my gosh, everybody's been on this meta for like 3 months, but you tech this in, and all of a sudden you have a new meta.
Yeah. You find a little bit of a gray area, a little bit of a vagueness in a card interaction. You're like, let's capitalize. Capitalize and make some money.
Yeah, that was kind of my niche from like day one with MetaZoos. And again, that's partially because, especially in the outset, it wasn't designed very tight, so you could get away with that nuance. Like I remember seeing, if like the card Slow, like it's a spell in Cryptid Nation release deck that delays a spell until the next turn. Like that, playing that as a counter to, I don't know, whatever, is really interesting in and of itself. It's like, oh, if you play Slow on Icy Path, what happens to the combat? And so anyways, there was stuff like that I really liked about it. And in Bandai games, you really don't have that.
You do not have that at all.
You play the color.
Yeah.
So that's really good for spikes. I think like if you really like high level, I don't even know if I'd say high, but if you like really competitive play where it's all patterns and sequencing, then I think that's like a really good that's really good news for you if you're interested in that kind of game.
I mean, did you guys see the playmat, that showed all the zones and the lanes? I'm trying to think. I want to say it's like Altered TCG that uses this like lane style of combat where it feels like each lane has its own set of creatures. Oh, first, they're not even calling them beasties anymore. They're not even calling them cryptids anymore.
Oh, that's a whole other...
They're creatures now? No!
I noticed on the cards, like, cryptid is a type. So, like, not all of the cards are cryptid. They'll name some things cryptids and other things not. So...
beasties no more. They're
no more pages though, no more spell book, no more I don't know. And it's so weird. When I first played MetaZoo, those were things I didn't like about MetaZoo, which is so funny to me. I hated that, like, oh, it's not your deck, it's your spell book, and then instead of draw
it's not your hand, it's your chapter.
Yeah.
Then
the more you play it, the more you're like, well, okay, that's part of the flavor. You're a spellcaster.
Right. We play other card games and we start calling it the spell book. We start calling it like
Aura.
The cemetery. Yeah, Aura. Oh my gosh.
Send it to Limbo.
No, it's the cemetery, not the Limbo, not the afterlife.
Yeah.
It just I'm a little bit perplexed because I thought that they would lean into it more. I thought that they would lean into the successful formula. And the fact of the matter is, again, as much as people wanted to hate on it, having the fourth walls, those different aspects of the game was a built-in marketing play. I literally went to any tournament and having a plant, but it was an immediate point of contact that I had to talk to people, and they're like, "Oh, that's interesting." And you're like, "Why are you at this tournament?" And you got a shrub. And you're like, "This is why." You go to an event, a tournament, and you're in a convention center. Why has everybody got fishing poles and rods and this, that, and the third? And this is why. This is why we do it. And for them to like rip that out, I think was a huge mistake, as well as not leaning a little bit into the current play, because none of the fact of the matter is none of the Kickstarter enthusiasts will like the buttoned up, like really sharp gameplay, none of the flavor. Like that's the issue. That, and then I don't think that MetaZoo's IP is strong enough to garner that immediately. So you can do that in one piece, because obviously you got one piece and you got 20 years of lore and history, and people care about it and have watched thousands and thousands of episodes and manga chapters to get into it. You can do that with Lorcana because there's Disney people all around. And also, you know, unless they have like a huge tournament roadmap, most people aren't going to get into it because it's like, what? I'm playing for nothing, and the gameplay isn't like fun, and or I'll say it's not. I won't say it's not fun, but it doesn't necessarily make me have to be creative or lean on those nuances. I think that they should have been a little bit more, I guess, thoughtful about the past. And again, I don't want to be some like boomer and like, well, in our day we used to do this, but they did have something good. Spikes were coming even for the tournaments that were paying out, but people did like that. And as much as people complain, like, oh, there's nuance and this and that, and the holidays and the towers, people were still playing and people were having tons of fun.
Yeah.
I think I will say this much before I bring any kind of negativity or whatever into the mix. I do think the cards have grown. Like my gut reaction was a little bit like, even me just biting my tongue, I'm thinking, I don't like any of this.
You're like,
That said, I've sort of marinated a little bit, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe I don't know. I want to give. I still want to give it a chance. That's where I'm at with all this. I do think that maybe it could be fun to open. I wouldn't mind giving it a try playing. I'm totally not closed off to still experiencing MetaZoo. And the thing, what I tell a lot of people, and this is just my perspective, is that this is just a continuation of my MetaZoo story. Whether this is like, even if this dies and crashes in a fire or whatever, like this is part of, you know, I've been involved with this game for how long now?
yeah.
I'm this far into it. I'm down for a booster box. And I said that day one, they could print, MetaZoo could print a turd on a card and I would buy it. It doesn't matter, especially this first set. You know, I at least want to be there for when this comes out.
And I'm gonna hold all of my, you know, full. I'm gonna still hold my reservations. March 7th is whenever they're coming out with MetaZoo Direct. Thank God, you know, good idea to come out with a longer, you know, long form video that's gonna talk about, you know, their website, learn to play, how to get these, you know, convention promos, stuff like that. They did mention that. That's good. MetaZoo players like this. They like the exclusives.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Promos, baby.
We love standing in line for 2 hours to get a promo. Ain't that it? But I'm gonna hold all of my reservations on gameplay, because I watched the video, I paused it at the cards and kind of understood the mechanic. Even with the playmat, a little hard to, which kind of worries me. It's a little hard to understand just from the playmat and seeing like the lanes and where the aura goes and the terras go. That was always a down point for original MetaZoo, is people would see you playing this game and they're like, why do you have like 3 discard piles? And you're like, oh yeah, you just put the cards, depending on what kind they are, in that place. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, I understand the land. I understand that the land's down bottom. Okay, that makes sense. Why you got your guys all over the place? Like, and how come your guys over on their side of the field and, you know, this and that? And that was difficult for someone that knew nothing about MetaZoo to pick up on and watch and be interested in. And I don't think this new game is going to lend any favors to that either. Like lane-based gameplay. Again, I'm going to hold my reservations, hold all my criticisms on it until I see this, gameplay trailer and I get to see it a little bit more and speak purely on what I've seen, which was the artwork. I think the hand-drawn artwork looks really good. I think the obvious digital artwork looked really bad whenever it came to the mix and match of it. I hate that. I hate that in Bandai games, man, where they'll have really great looking cards and then you'll have like a screenshot from an anime episode.
Oh, it's so bad. That's why any anime game, I can't. You're telling me you're just going to screenshot this episode and you're going to put it on a card? You want me to be excited about that?
Like, why can't you just have continuity across the art style? Like, why can't it all just be digital or it all just be hand-drawn? I hate that because whenever I see different artwork styles like that, it makes me think of like different expansions or even different games altogether, right? Whenever you see something that is clearly digital artwork and something that is clearly hand-drawn artwork, then you're like, so this was like two different expansions, right? And you're like, nope, same pack of cards.
And I don't know if it's just too much all at once. I think that's part of it too, where
Maybe.
I think all of the changes on a macro level, if they were done over the course of a year even, maybe would feel a little less bad. And what I mean by that is, say all the borders looked the same, but the art was really divergent, or maybe all the art looked really similar, but they did a lot of different borders. But you have like the black border, the white border, then borderless, and then all this disparate art all in one set. It kind of feels very like sort of all over the place. At least that's sort of my assessment on that one.
And maybe that's by design. Maybe we'll see that in March. We will see the reason for that and why it's supposed to look like that. And fingers crossed that's what we see.
I mean, I think they have to do something like maybe they want to do something that differentiates themselves from old MetaZoo, but I'm a little bit, again, confused with the art and the direction and what's going on here, because if you are pressed on trying to bring the set into like Q1, I think you did a good job there, but why so many different changes? Why so many like full art? Like what's the angle here? Like are they're saying they're maybe trying to appeal more to kids? Are they trying, like, it seems like they don't know what they're gonna do. Like in my purview, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of kids that are rushing to play any of these card games. Like there is, so you're trying to like oversimplify and make this game, like dumb it down so that it's simpler for people to catch on. Seems a little bit backwards to me. Also, like the art styles and stuff like that. If a majority of the user base is going to be like millennials, then you should probably do some callbacks. Like that's why all the movie franchises and stuff like that are all callbacks to things that have already been successful, because that's like new franchises, new ideas don't work really well. They get shot down. They end up wasting people's time and money. And so I'm a little bit like, what led you to this reason? Like what was the experts, the people who may have like been involved with Pokemon or all these other TCGs or been around the industry, what are they telling you to make you do the things that you're doing? And again, we don't have that viewpoint, but I'm very interested as to why they're doing the decisions that they are doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's weird, right? It's strange that, and like you just mentioned, if you're supposed to dumb down the gameplay because you're going to make it more accessible for all ages, newsflash, kids don't play Pokemon. They collect Pokemon. They have the cards that they
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Every time I bring that up, people think I'm like speaking gibberish.
Kids do not play Pokemon. They collect Pokemon.
Yeah.
They have their parents buy cards for them. They put them in a binder. They take them to school. They show it to their friends. They collect. They do not play. I watched even myself. I was at locals today, playing sorcery. Shout out sorcery. Playing sorcery, and I saw a dad and his 2 young daughters, and they had bought the Battle Academy box, which is supposed to be your intro product. It has numbered cards on it, and you set up the decks a certain way, and you basically just play out a full game of Pokemon in order. It's all scripted so that you can learn how to play the game. Those kids could not care less about, I have to attach an energy to attack with my Charmander. They cared about, oh, Charmander, look what Charmeleon. That's what they cared about. They did not care that they had to attach their 3rd energy for the turn so Charmeleon could use Fire Spin. They did not care. And I can take that a step further. Every year I go to the national championship for Pokemon. Every year. Last year, there were 3,000 people above the age of 15 that competed at nationals, like 3,200 and something. There were 123 kids. 1, 2, 3, exactly. If that puts it into perspective on who actually plays the game, kids ain't playing. Kids don't care. They just see the characters. They see the relatable characters, the little creatures, and that's what they like. And that's fine, right? That's great.
It was the same pitfall that Meta 1 fell in with the stupid Hello Kitty, where everybody gaslit themselves, or I don't know what gaslit's not really the term for it, but that everybody everybody looped themselves into thinking, oh yeah, Hello Kitty is actually the big brain play because this is where the kids come in, and this is where women start looking at the TCG, and we're acquiring a whole new market segment. And I'm like, you're out of your mind.
Out of it. It was
not for playing. Maybe they'll pick up a pack of cards to look at.
Yeah, that's true. To look at, yeah.
Even then, that set was kind of all over the place too. Like, I mean, it seemed a little rushed, and I mean, I don't know what went into the playability of Chromie's Cryptic Carnival, but it seemed a little bit flashy to me. But yeah, we were telling everybody, like, this is not the move. This is not gonna be the benefit that you think it is, and we got to stop, and we got to be more realistic as enthusiasts that this, like, kids. Everybody under millennials, they're not playing trading card games the same way. That's why you don't see as many LGSs thriving like they used to. Granted, Ed and I have talked on and off about this all the time, but LGSs used to be a babysitter. Like, you used to drop your kid off at Barnes and Noble.
Those days are over, man.
At Hastings, man, I was at Hastings every Saturday playing Yu-Gi-Oh for 4 hours because my parents wanted some alone time.
It used to be that. Now you have free to play games. You have Fortnite, you have Marvel Rivals, you have everything under the sun, and people are wanting to play online on the PS5, on their PC, and you don't have that need for kids to go somewhere like they used to. It's the same way with those who are active. Like, kids don't go to the YMCA anymore because you can be safe. Do everything online in the safety of your home, and parents don't have to worry about it, and they can just relax, go to sleep, and know that their kids are like, oh, little Johnny's playing Fortnite. It's not the same as yesteryear. And so we keep thinking that most of the people are trying to fight over the same populace, and the only way that you can get people from other games is like either you entice them with a big grand prize, or there's a value of the value of the cards is enough to get them to pull over. Or the last but most important thing is it's reminiscent of something that they missed out on. So MetaZoo people, we were reminiscent of Pokemon in the boom, and we were like, dang, I had that Charizard back in the day. That was first edition, but I let it go in the washing machine. Screw it. If I could go back in time, I would keep it and I would hold on to it and I would grade it. That's what a lot of the motivation was, is that, dang, I had that same feeling, but I get a chance to reminisce something and relive it as if I made all the right decisions. With this new MetaZoo, you don't get to do that. You're like playing One Piece or any other, rip and ship kind of they pull the IP over, take an old game, and just paste it over the top, and then that's what it is. And don't let anybody lie to you. Don't let anybody. MetaZoo has MetaZoo has the most opportunity now to see how they're gonna flesh this thing out. I'm giving them all the opportunities to change my opinion currently. I don't think that it's gonna fail, but they need to start listening to people. Like, I don't know what their like demographic studies were that led them to do this, because they have all this expertise and everybody's going to be vouching for them, that they have all these people on their team. But what led you to doing this? Because it's not working. It hasn't worked for any of the other Bandai games or anything like that. It's just all those games have great IPs already on top of it.
Those Bandai games are pre-engineered to collapse. Like they give them like I am almost guarantee that there's about a 5-year, they put like a 5-year leash on each of these games.
If
that, and they know that going into it. They've done it enough times. They know that this is the formula, rinse, repeat. They capture
Dragon Ball.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, that's not a 20-year IP kind of strategy that they're doing with those games. So I wouldn't even bother to make those as the model you want to seek after. My question too is that, we've said this before on here several times. I don't know if anybody's listening or what, but yeah, I think it's such a catch-22 as well, because MetaZoo, or at least Meta2, might not be for the original MetaZoo fans, right? The other argument is, okay, well, there was only towards the end, or at least now, 100, maybe 300 MetaZoo fans. Do you try to placate those people when trying to, launch this new product, or do you try to think of more of a growth strategy with having maybe I say a little bit in that they're keeping some of the original art? I don't know if you saw that. There was like a Griddle Grease of Pete,
Cumberland Dragon, and like a borderless, and it's just like the artwork. Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, that's the
callback. That's the callback to nostalgia that you were looking for, Eason. You wanted to reminisce on the old game. Here's some reused artwork. Oh my god, you paid $2 million for this?
For this, like, and we ain't even get our stuff back.
no offense to I think it was like Pete and Cumberland Dragon. It was like Peckham art and Jet art. Like, I like that artwork, but man, it don't need to be on these. New game, new you.
Yeah,
why not just have them redraw it?
It was almost jarring, honestly.
You're like, why is that there?
Yeah.
Is this a gag? Oh, can we also talk about the alt art box art?
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't like that.
How did they think that this is going to track? Anybody selling non-full cases are just going to cherry pick the chase box art. Like, they're like, oh, and someone who I really respect in the MetaZoo space is Dr. Cards, right? He did a lot of money, did a lot of numbers, and he's like, yeah, there's not really a way to track this. You just got to trust the person you're buying it from. But it's like, if there's money to be made, they ain't doing nothing for you. They do not care. Like, oh my gosh. So it's like, okay, well, you just got to buy a full case to have the chance. That's the only way. If the stop tape is there, that's the only way to know that it's not been tampered with. But it's like, dude, that's not the strat. Like, making somebody spend, what people are charging. I think Dark Cards is charging $80 a box, 12 boxes in a case, $1,000.
That too. It's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, distro's what, at 65 a box, I believe.
67.5 is
67.5. Okay, so we're talking 67.5. You're selling for 80 a box. After essentially the general consumer with $80 a box, they're paying for shipping and seller's fees, right? Like you're just covering that. Why even bother? I think that's honestly above this is where my head's at these days. Above the gameplay, above the art, above the lore, whatever little things you liked about MetaZoo, purely on the business standpoint is where I have the most issue. I think like even with this new game, I could see myself probably playing it. I mean, I listen, I play a lot of games. Do I buy cards? That's a whole other question.
No.
But if I have MetaZoo in front of me, I'll play it. Yeah, if somebody handed me a MetaZoo deck, I'll play it. But from the standpoint of do I want to buy cards? Do I want to crack packs? Do I want to air quotes invest in it? That's a whole other conversation. And I say this as a player with former MetaZoo. One of the best things about former MetaZoo, and people love to complain about it, but as a player, I was never really strapped for cards. Cards were always readily accessible, and also there was some value in the cards. So if you go to a tournament and you won product, right, or you won something, you always knew you could sell that product to at least cover your tournament fees. Now, obviously, towards the end, a lot of that fell off, but that's a big part of why, as a player, you want cards to be worth something. Okay. Now, I know we love to say like they're all game pieces. That's the other thing that's always been weird to me is like, I mean, Kurt and Easton, you guys both know me as good as anybody, where I like to think of myself as a player first kind of person. I think that's pretty fair to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mind paying if I'm competing in a tournament and I got to pay $20 for a promo. I'll pay $20 for a promo. Like that's just like what that's how
the cost of
TCGs
doing
are.
business.
That's how TCGs are.
Yeah.
And I also would only be willing to do that knowing full well that the tournament pricing, whether it be product, money, or whatever it is, has to be worth something on the secondary market for me to cover my costs if I was to do well in that tournament. So not only am I sacrificing my day to play, but also play testing and also building the deck and all the little things that go into it. And again, I'm not saying it's like I'm treating my gameplay experience as a business, but as an adult playing card games, I like the cards to be worth something.
Right.
I don't know if I'm pointing out the obvious here, but when boxes are selling at 80, probably going to be selling at what, net zero by the time things launch, the way things are going.
Unless they do something that prevents retailers from bottoming out their product before it even hits the shelves. Like why can't we do that? Why can't we just set like didn't MetaZoo try and do that to where like MSRP was this? But
MSRP is always a losing thing. I hate, why even bother to put that on the stupid poster? It drives me absolutely insane. No game. Shame on Sorcery for doing it. Shame on MetaZoo shame on every single TCG. It's so silly. If you're not going to enforce it, there's no point. There's no point.
Exactly. That's where I was getting at. Like, there was no way to enforce that with old MetaZoo. There's no way to enforce it, period, with anybody, right? Because if you're not going to track the distribution, if you're not going to track those channels in the way that they're selling, then there is no way to enforce it, right? So like, why does it matter? Just just come out with what it costs and just have that be it. But it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that stuff's already as low as it is, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, that's 100% where I'm at. I mean, listen, I'll say it again. I can live with the card art. Hey, maybe I'm not in love with the style and it's a little like scatterbrained or whatever. That's okay. You can come back from that. The gameplay, it's a little jagged. Maybe it's not exactly what I'd like, but maybe other people really like it. You can come back from that. It's really hard to come back from is your first set launching and it bottoming out at $40 a box, $30 a box
when it's already a distro.
I mean,
RIP, it's a distro price.
That's the scariest thing for me. That's the thing that honestly, the having no lore on the cards, having I don't really like the borders.
There's no metadata on the cards either. Like,
But even that, yeah, again, that's kind of sad. Like I liked all that, but even that aside, again, going back, you can't you can't come back from any of that stuff if the market has just priced you in as like this worthless thing, right? Or maybe am I being too am I being too doom and gloom on this? Y'all check me.
I don't think you are.
No, I think it's fair.
I think it's a very real concern that everyone should be having. If you're looking at anything other than just a money furnace,
Yeah.
you know, if you're just looking to burn cash for entertainment, sure thing.
Well,
and
I'm not.
You know,
Go ahead.
I would say we're not card investors. We don't buy product and hold product and hope to double and triple it or quadruple it or 10x it. Especially on card games we want to play, typically we buy and we open and we play with the cards in hopes to, you know, go neutral or plus EV. I'm the biggest person on that.
Yeah,
it's all about EV, right?
The patron saint of EV cracking, man. Let me tell you. But
it's all about EV. But like, whenever it's almost impossible to do from the rip, like. So I gotta pull a alt art in my box, or I ain't making nothing. Stuff's not even worth the cardboard that it's printed on. As soon as I get it, oh, and also 24 packs a box. Come on, what are you, sorcery? Come on now, we need those 36. Hold on now.
What is this Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, what is this Yugioh?
And hold on, I know how Yu-Gi-Oh does post release.
Yeah, right. Goes to fucking zero. you crack that cellophane off that Yu-Gi-Oh box, you have now lost all of your money. Oh god, dude.
But hey, yeah, no, the players love it.
I just, I am cautiously optimistic about what this next month will hold, right? March is the month for MetaZoo that they're going to tell us about all this cool stuff. We're going to have Collecticon at the end of March. You know, maybe it's sick. Who knows? I just hope. I hope it's something.
I mean, I said this before. I feel like I'm going to eat crow. I was pumping it pretty hard. I was like, oh yeah, these boxes are going to go crazy. I just think I'm going to get flamed for this probably, but like the only way this survives is if they severely choke back the supply. They essentially, a lot of people don't get allocated. They just say, oh, sorry, just because you put in an order doesn't mean you're going to get it. And like 10% of those people, I mean, that's going to irritate a lot of folks too.
People are going to be upset about that.
Yeah, 100%. That's not a cool thing. That's a terrible thing to do. But I don't know what else. Like at this, I don't know what you could do about it at this point.
You got to use an old MetaZoo tactic. You got to use keep the supply low, lie, and keep the supply. Lie and keep the supply. That's what Mike and them used to do. They used to say, "Oh, 30 minutes is sold out in 30 minutes," and they created that scarcity. And you're like, "Dang, everything's to the moon." That's what you got to do. That's the only hope, because this I'm gonna try to do the Bandai strategy, or I'm gonna. I mean. Maybe they're going to be big in international gameplay. I don't see it. I'm being optimistic.
Yeah. You got to print those cards in other languages, right?
Yeah, they can't all be in English. But
hey. Look, didn't Trump just change it from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf America? Look, said,
that's right.
Everybody got to get along.
Everybody's speaking English now.
Everybody
Gulf of America, brought to you by O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Yeah.
At this point,
so this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, which I thought this was. I mean, in my vantage point, it seems like they don't. I don't want to say they don't know what they're doing, because they're professionals, and
we don't know yet, right? Like we don't know yet that they don't know what they're doing. They can only okay. Why'd y'all both just give me that look? Like, are you sure about that? I think let's wait to have some wool pulled over our eyes in March. Let's see. Let's be hopeful.
Well, again, I like my whole thing is my gut reaction. I hate the art. I don't like the cards, but then it's growing on me. I honestly, I could live with MetaZoo. Like it's not, even if me just resigning that, hey, it's not really for me. all good, whatever. It is what it is. Maybe I'll show up and play, but I'm not gonna like, I don't know how to explain, like fawn over the art or whatever. Gotta figure out this box situation though. I'm gonna keep hammering that. That is so concerning to me. And again, I'm not like an investor type for TCGs. If anything, I preach not investing in the cardboard. I just want the game to survive. That's really it. Like, I think it would be great if MetaZoo does have multiple sets and does really well, but I think I'm sounding like Rudy at this point too, but it's like you can't print 1 million boxes and have your set launch at net even.
Dude, we're Battle Spirit Saga, and we saw how that happened.
Oh, that came and went.
It's gone now. $20 booster boxes, and now it's gone. They have shut down Battle Spirit Saga, man. And speaking, I was going to bring up this next. I don't know if you guys have heard anything. I know you guys might not go to card shops, very regularly, but I was at my local game store today. And I mentioned to the manager that was there, I said, hey, MetaZoo's coming back. He goes, what? I said, yeah, MetaZoo. He goes, oh, like that stuff we got back there. They've got like 2nd edition release decks like up for sale for like distro price, like $6 a box and stuff. I was like, no, not like that. New card game, all brand new stuff. I was like, have y'all seen any of that like on your distro channels or anything like that? He goes, no. We haven't seen nothing. So I'm curious to see if like any like brick and mortar stores I've even heard of it like as like a hot new card game, right? Saying like, oh, maybe we should look at this. Maybe we should try this out. There's no way, right?
No, I was like, didn't we even say like how are they going to get into LGSs? Like the last one is like, how are they going to get into LGS? And to me, it seems like it's a bunch of the old MetaZoo guard from seller point of view, and then you have from a distro point of view, and then also how easy it is to be a seller. Like, I mean, anybody and their mama could be a seller, and not to say that you are anybody and your mama if you are a seller. I'm just saying that back in the day, like you can't just ask to be a distro or be a seller or LGS. Like, you have to have a brick and mortar store. You have to prove that your finances and different things like that. Like, there has to be like a precedent set that this isn't an easy thing to do. And because if everybody does it, it's not special. It's like I tell a story all the time about us giving away what was it? The discount codes for, I think, native release back in the day. And it was like when we did like a partnership thing for that, and everybody's supposed to get a discount code or whatever. And no, affiliate link. That was what it was. Affiliate links. My apologies. And if everybody has an affiliate link, it's not special anymore. It doesn't.
What's the point of the affiliate link?
Right. And so if everybody is a seller, gets distribution rights and has allocation, then it's not special. And then it's almost they eat themselves. It's like, who can drop it the lowest? And then everybody obviously is going to go to the cheapest person, especially if they have decent reviews for whatever reason. And so I think that that's also an issue that they're going to have to fight through.
Man, I hate seeing the no-name sellers pop up. It blows my flipping mind. Why not just do direct to consumer?
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like, right?
Just do direct to consumer.
That would be easy that you can get approved for a seller account. Like,
why even bother?
What's the point?
So don't get me started.
Yeah. And then they all these seller accounts. Oh, by the way, if you actually want to order stuff, you gotta have that 50 SKUs. You gotta buy 50 boxes from us, and then you can be a seller. That'd be nice. I'd like to see that.
Make it 1,000.
Oh man.
Yeah, I put the screws on it.
Well, at least we'd only have 3 vendors then, 3 reputable distributors.
That's fine. That's because the problem is the more you have of these yahoos, the easier it is for them to undercut each other. If there's only 3 of them, they could easily just talk to the 3 of them and say, hey, listen, none of us are gonna go below 100, right? They're like, yeah, okay, cool. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, but you do that for 20 people, 50 people, 100 people.
God,
Then all of a sudden it just turns into eBay.
man,
and
it feels like there's already 100 people.
Yeah,
seems like everybody and their mama going,
yeah,
I got boxes for pre-sale.
and you're gonna keep them.
Yeah, and you're not making no sales.
It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know why this is my issue of all things. Like I said, it's a shame maybe about the art, shame maybe about the lore. Maybe it's a shame like, oh, I'm not crazy about the box art or the chase hit or X, Y, and there's a number of things, but those aren't deal breakers to me. That's still like, it's just card game. I already came to terms with this a while ago that MetaZoo might not be for me. Then it almost makes sense from a business standpoint to create a product that appeals to the most possible people at the cost of upsetting the carnies. But the problem is, if you don't appeal to anybody and your boxes are worth nothing, then what do you have? What do you have? What is this? I don't know.
What do you have?
Sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm ranting. It's just
let him know, Chief.
I've been sitting on this. I'm just
let him know. Get it off your chest, big man.
I feel better now.
I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we'll never have another MetaZoo. They had a great thing, but they squandered it. And the hope that we have for MetaZoo, I again continue to hope. I think that they have the team, they have they speak so highly of that they're thinking long term, and so hopefully this is just one step in the long term vision and not just an immediate deterrent from a lot of people. I do see that a lot of people are optimistic and joyful, and I am too. I just think that we're highlighting some of the issues that we see from our experience with TCGs, and we don't want to think that we're like the end all be all and the experts, but we like to think that we do have some unique perspectives from tons of experience, whether it be playing, collecting, or even just kind of observing the business side of it. But it's interesting to say the least. I really wish when they do the videos, share with us why they went with the direction that they did go to, because to me this seems like Battle Spirits, any of the other games that is, for those viewers that or listeners that don't understand how these games kind of get into fruition, what tends to happen is a game is slowly dying. It might have a little bit of buzz from a Kickstarter or it was created. Eventually they might default on something. A company might buy them out. They might give the rights owned by somebody else. So what happens is Bandai, other companies, they end up buying the games for pennies on the dollar, ripping the IP that on it, keeping the rules engine, and then tighten up a couple things, then put on another IP on top of it, and then shipped it out. And then that's how you get some of these games out so quickly. Even with Lorcana, they ripped it from another game. They put the Disney characters, and then voila, you got Lorcana. And a lot of these games, I think Flesh and Blood is pretty original. I think One Piece is a rip off of another game. I mean, and most of the Bandai games play the same. So Dragon Ball Super, One Piece, they all kind of have a similar kind of style, or you'll start to see some similarities between the two. But in terms of like the current TCG market, they're pretty much massive IPs ripped off of old Kickstarter games that were somewhat popular but died off because either management ended up squandering it or they just ran out of roadway. And so that's kind of what happens.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. Whew. Fellas, I'm scared. I'm scared for MetaZoo. I'm scared. But, maybe I am going to be so surprised. Maybe after our first Collecticon, Houston Collecticon, they announce a tournament.
That's what they need.
We'll have a month for everyone to get their cards, figure out their decks, and Then they have a tournament at Houston, and it'll just be like old times, baby. And we'll be stonking to the moon.
and then we'll have to eat our words because they were like, look, they were right, man. That
Yeah.
I don't know what we were thinking about originality and getting into the cryptids and innovative and authentic art, and screw that, man. We should have just did that from the get-go. We should have just took a card game, put that MetaZoo IP on it, and then sent it off to the moon.
Yeah. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that would be rad. That would be really cool. That would be amazing. So amazing.
Doesn't sound like you're too hopeful on that there, buddy.
I would write. I'd be willing to like do I need like a case study on this if it does end up being like this gangbusters thing, because it defies all my fundamentals on what it takes to launch a successful card game. That said, I don't know if there's really like a solid playbook on it, but I feel like just from what I've seen with the marketing and the launch of this, it's all just really kind of strange to me. I don't know. We'll definitely, yeah. I think that's, anybody can say, oh yeah, we'll know more when we see the cards in person and when we see the tournaments and we see these things happening. But that also feels a little bit like a cop out to me, because it's like we know quite a bit at this point. We've seen how this has gone so far. We know what the cards look like. We have an idea of how the game might work. I guess the biggest question is maybe I'm too market forward on this. I don't know. It's like where the cards are going to end up price wise. I just don't think a game that has, stores are selling at a loss at launch can be successful. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You are definitely not wrong.
Yeah. Again, I really don't have that big of problems with like any of the other stuff. I keep saying that, and I'm trying to that's supposed to be a positive thing. But until I see the box situation get fixed, where the dude in grandma's basement isn't a pretend LGS, or the guys who literally made a Shopify on the free account for the first month, have one product in their store, have no LLC, and decided, yeah, I'm an LGS. I see those guys go away, then I'll feel way better. But everything else, I can't in good faith recommend MetaZoo to anybody until that stupid stuff is fixed. That is some rinky-dink bush league kind of.
Hey.
What do you mean, dang, dude?
Nah.
Come on. It's insane. It's insane.
Ed said, "I'm pissed." He said,
Yeah.
These bush league amateurs. I hate it here.
Not riding around in the rinky dink, man.
Yeah, I mean they're in the Titty Cup Junior.
No.
Yeah.
No, buy my box.
Weenie Hut Junior. There we go. They're in the Weenie Hut Junior over here.
No, man, buy my boxes.
It's just so like I can't. Bring back the partner program if you want to do that. That's whatever. That's fine.
We used to be a proper country, he said.
Yeah. Yeah. You got Dave Regalado over here. I'm for the people. Sure. All right. Well, thanks, buddy. You're completely devalued everything about MetaZoo in one fell swoop. Way to go, guy. What a homie. What a solid, bro.
Man.
That's like, no, that's not a homie. That is not a homie. That is not a friend.
Not a homie, huh?
No. If I was MetaZoo, I would consider that an act of aggression.
Oh.
All right. I'd be putting tariffs on Dave Regalado and friends.
Tariffs.
Yeah. Yep.
He said max power.
I'd sanction him. Oh man.
No, sanction him, man.
Yeah, and I don't have anything against Dave as a person. I say all of this like I don't have any problems personally with anybody. I purely from a business standpoint, though,
Yeah, Dave is really one of the top tier people. Like he's really good people. I appreciate Dave, especially as MetaZoo original was coming down to the very end. But I do understand Ed's issues and sentiments because, like, it's really a race to the bottom. Like, it's going to be below the show prices here shortly if nothing does happen, and then from there, I mean, it'll be like, how are they regulating the boxes? Who? And if I mean, all is well if they, you know, trying to cut the supply, have a tournament, force people to kind of go out there and have to start ripping it, and then go from there. That's what they should do.
I mean, okay, I'll walk it back. Okay, it's if it wasn't gonna be Dave, it would have been somebody else to do $80, $70, $60. But all it takes is one, right? It's just like then the dam breaks, and I've seen this happen time and time again with every single alternative asset there is, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whatever it is. There's always one person that's just like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sell. Like I'm gonna blow this market up. I've seen it with everything. Do you blame that person? I don't know. It could have been somebody else, but whatever. Y'all. Sorry, I'm just like ranting on the box prices. I feel for y'all that care about the art. I'm sorry that happened. You don't like the art, whatever. So you don't like the game because of whatever reason that you haven't seen. That's weird to me, but whatever. The lore. Sorry, there was never really any lore from MetaZoo, but Tormentic managed to string that together. That was cool.
True.
That's all fine. Like all of that I can work with. But
he said, but these amateur sellers, get them out of here.
Get them out.
I don't know, man.
Our MetaZoo now.
Yeah. I guess.
Your MetaZoo? No, our MetaZoo.
I just hate crack. Maybe it's because I'm not like a pack cracker and I'm not like, oh yeah, I enjoy the experience of cracking packs because I just like wasting money. I don't know.
Hey man. Hey man.
I love you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring the spice tonight. I'm surprised I'm the only one with the box take, but hey, maybe somebody else out there might feel the same as me.
I think people do. The issue also comes with that there's a ton of overly optimistic people, like the same people who were burned by MetaZoo end up just coming back and was like, oh, everything's great. I didn't get anything resolved. Like all the money that they paid for Meta2, it's probably not going to come back to me, but hey, let's give this a try. And I think that a lot of us now are going into it with a little bit more apprehensiveness because we know how grimy the TCG space can be. And
especially
so
indie TCG.
Indie TCG is a different beast.
Yeah.
All right. What else you guys got? Is that it?
I went and played in a sorcery draft today. How'd
that go? They make any more cards?
They have not made any more cards, unfortunately. They did a few days ago. Sorcery did hint at their new set, which they've now confirmed is called Gothic. They they announced a new artist, spoiled some artwork. It's a person handing you a little frog, and it makes a frog token on next to one of your guys, one of your creatures in play, and then you get to draw a spell. I thought that was pretty cute, pretty cool. It gives me really bad memories. I really hate that it's a frog card because there's a guy in the sorcery space that has a bunch of custom artwork of frogs doing bad things, heinous acts, heinous frog acts, and he loves to go to all the tournaments with his 10-year-old child and show off his not safe for work frog artwork on sorcery cards. We don't like Frog Guy.
Man.
Let Frog Guy live.
Listen,
I
man.
hate Frog Guy so much. Oh, I hate him so
After you
much.
just getting me riled up about MetaZoo, you get me going about this, and people wonder why when I say LGSs are just a dying thing. You know, you think I'm going to send my kid to stores that allow people like Frog Guy to exist?
Absolutely.
No.
We saw worse, Ed. We saw worse. We saw people's boxes with, you know.
Yeah, bruh.
No,
the
it's
play
not.
mats,
Listen, it's not worse than the play mats in the deck boxes, man.
We're
talking not nice things, and they're just on full display. It's not fun. But anyways, I did go and play in this draft. We had people that were there that weren't just our local scene, which was a refreshing thing. And the consensus was the same of, man, Eric's Curios has got to do something for like the local game store to get people to come in and play, because no one's doing it. Or they need to announce like a championship circuit or something. They have to do something, because there's no reason for people to come in and play for pack per win, man. There's just not. And it was refreshing to hear other people that I don't interact with regularly say the same thing that I've been saying for months. So there was that. What else did Kurt do? I opened up a Prismatic Evolutions ETB.
Getting big hits.
We didn't pull shit. And I don't know how anyone would spend over MSRP for that product. It is an amazing players set. This has so many reprints from all the power cards from all of the previous block. It's all in this set. This is an amazing set for players. Only problem is you can't find it anywhere because everyone's buying it up and reselling it for 2 times the price. So that sucked. No hits. I hated it. I think I told Ed about it whenever I got it, and he goes, "You should flip it." I was like, I can't do that. I gotta open it.
Yeah, man, you're gonna put me after my box rant. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, the flipper, the investor says flip it." No, here's what happens when cards become so valuable. Again, I don't like cracking packs. I don't know. I don't get the rush. But when they become so valuable, and I'll let me recontextualize that as well. When MetaZoo puts out a new set, when games that I actively play put out a new set, I have like a 2-box rule. And my idea is that if you don't get what you want in 2 boxes, boy, you best be just buying those singles if you're building your deck. The idea that you just need to pull your deck, like that's mental to me. But when boxes are selling for so high, there's a price in my mind. If the box is doubled and you bought it, at MSRP, I can't in good conscience open that box. I'm serious. Like at that point, it's like, well, no, I'm gonna sell it for double, and then I'm gonna buy all my singles.
That's the smarter play.
It was not a good experience. I will say that will be the one and only time that I open that set, probably at all, until prices, are just MSRP baseline and it's on the shelves and nobody wants it anymore. Then maybe I'll open it a little more, but until that time, not touching it again. The ETB itself was shiny. It had some hollow foil pattern on it. It looks nice, but that's about it for me. It was tough. Sorcery draft was cool. No new cards, but made like $100 in the promo that I won. So we love that plus EV $20 draft into $100 promo. We like that.
I like that. I like sorcery, but it just needs
it needs oomph. We need supplemental entertainment. We need something to tide us over, man.
Yeah, I need a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? Like a gothic set with a little thick, gothic baddie.
Yeah, we need some thick frogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I need a little some with a little bit of oomph,
Goth. Yeah. I'll pitch that at the next the next suggestion box that they have at Gen Con.
You're looking for that Winnowa rider.
Oh my god. Holy moly.
Oh man. All right. So we're still up in the air about MetaZoo.
Yeah, bullish on MetaZoo, and really bullish on the Gothics.
Yeah. Really bullish on the Gothics. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Wait, are we still going to Collecticon?
Oof. We're going to the local.
We're going to local Collecticon.
See, that's how you know Ed. The reveal messed with Ed, because Ed, we were all gun ho about.
We were booking it. We
were ready.
Ed was like, I don't know if the wife and kids gonna let me go.
We'll pull back the curtain, listeners. You know, we all plan to go to Miami Collecticon to, you know, get our EV in on MetaZoo, and you know, after seeing this, we rethought our plans. So,
and listen, the tide could change. Maybe these alpha demo decks and packs and stuff. I don't know. Could be it. But here, I don't know. I just want MetaZoo. I want MetaZoo to just like crush so bad.
You said you want it to be so good.
I know. There's no way. The fundamentals. We got like Charlie and friends. They understand like market dynamics. They're gonna make this worth every player's time, every collector's time. And now I'm just looking at it, and when I see somebody with their background and allowing this stuff to happen with boxes and you know, their launch product, it has totally altered the way I thought about all of this, which is really, that's the biggest bummer for me.
Let's break it down. I know that we're getting close to time, but let's break it down.
We're overtime. Yeah.
Oh, we overtime. All right, y'all getting a little bit extra. The biggest mistake that people made in MetaZoo was that you just kind of took people for face value. Everybody was like, Mike, he went to an Ivy League. His dad is like the bee's knees in war. He's the war warden of the North, 5-star general.
He was Trump's bottom.
Yeah, he was all this. Andy, he basically created BioShock, and he was
oh my god. Not Andy BioShock lore, man.
He basically created what was it? What's that? Skyrim. Yeah, he created it all. He coded it out himself. He basically built it.
I was there. I saw it.
This is what happened to us. Everybody was like, dang, well, you know, Mike's got to be just genius because he went to this thing, and he's well educated and all this other stuff, and he's got it. This is the same trap that we fell into last time. Like, you just can't just take people because they have great titles and they have all this experience for knowing stuff. Like, you just can't do it. Same thing with like
I'm
DC
tired
companies.
of this, Grandpa.
We just got to be smarter. I mean, people, we unless you see these people doing great things in what they're currently doing now, and it's something that they built themselves and not like just hopped on to continue the thing on. We can't just take them for face value, because we did that same thing with like people who do startups and VC companies and all the tech bros that come in here. You can't just let them tell you, oh, I did this and I turned this creation from $0 to $50 million, because they lying to you probably, and they just telling you a story, and then they don't know how to do it, and then you be wondering like, damn, I really believed you, and then you just hurt. So we can't do this again. I think we got to let everybody let their merits be what they create. We can't just be like, oh, well, this team is so well fleshed out. Not going to do it. Not this time.
Yeah, I fell into that trap a little bit. I mean, I guess that's been my biggest disappointment so far. I can live without the carny aspect of MetaZoo. You know, hey, we want to be big boys with modern art, modern cards, and modern gameplay mechanics. Okay, I can understand. You're a business. You're trying to grow. My mind can wrap. I'm an adult, and I can understand why a company would want to do that. And that means abandoning the 100 to 300 original fans. Okay. But when you're trying to sell me on your when you're trying to sell me on your company, and y'all doing what the max order limit's 1,000 boxes per person. and anybody can be a reseller. I'm like,
You know,
yeah,
I can
I'm gonna
only
stay at
think of
home.
I can only think of that screenshot that was floating around towards the end of original MetaZoo of someone being able to add like 85,000 boxes of wilderness on the website for like $100,000. He goes, guys, should I do it? Should I save MetaZoo? Should I do it, y'all?
Oh.
Should I purchase 85,000 boxes of wilderness?
Oh man, I mean, to put in
God.
perspective, there's 25,000 supposed boxes of Crypto Nation First Edition, right? And that's what, under $100 on the secondary market.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have a hunch there might be more than 25,000 MetaZoo boxes or Meta2 boxes coming out.
I think there might be more than that between 3 different seller accounts.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, all the other stuff doesn't matter. I think it could be a great game for certain people. I think certain people could really love the art. I think it could be successful in its own right. And all of those things, if a box ain't worth more than what, $50 when it's brand new.
Oof. Oof.
You can't win.
That's a wolf from me.
Yeah. I say this as a guy that plays dead card games. I like cheap cards. I play cheap card games. I do all that stuff, but to have me buy into your IP or like to really capture my longevity, my, you know, the most money you can squeeze out of me, that ain't it.
It ain't it. But, you know, we shall see. We shall see.
All right, y'all. Well, hopefully I don't delete this one because I was way too annoying and
no, it's great.
Emotional.
We keep it.
Edit
We run it.
Edit us out. Edit the spicy stuff out from all of us, and then
just bleep it. Just censor it. Just be one long beep for like 3 minutes.
Man, this episode of the podcast was only 8 minutes long. This was
and all this stuff is allegedly. This is nothing. Nothing is fact for fact. So if we say anything, most of it is tongue in cheek and allegedly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. This is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. Please keep investing in Moonbryons. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for stacking the deck, everyone.
Peace.